This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV, and today we're very pleased to be joined by John Allen of Quantum Marine Stabilizers. And John, first and foremost, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, appreciate it. Looking forward to having a chat.
Just to start us out, why don't you give us a quick tutorial, a stabilization 101, if you will, talking about some of the basic factors that impact stabilization.
Stabilizers has been a critical part of ship construction and ship operation for many, many years, probably starting back in the 1940s. Stabilizers, and then what we're engaged in mostly, which is fin stabilizers, have been, actively used in, commercial, military, and obviously private yachts since probably the late 40s and then into the 50s, and probably became very commonplace in private yachting in the late 60s, early 70s. Warships, of course, and large commercial ships, cruise ships, and later on even container ships.
Can you discuss the Quantum products and how they work?
Sure. Well, we obviously build traditional stabilizers, so we build fin stabilizers. Fin stabilizers have been around for many years, and a standard fin stabilizer can work, as the vessel moves through the water, and as the boat rolls, the fin can rotate, generate lift, and straighten the boat out. In addition to that, we have three other products that Quantum builds, which are more unique. We have the XT stabilizer fin, and the XT stabilizer fin is a fin that actually has a foil built inside it, and the foil deploys for the zero speed part of the application. The XT is the most successful product that we build today. And I'd say probably 85% of everything we build is an XT stabilizer. And that lends itself, of course, to a good underway product, but also an excellent zero speed product for us. And the second, I would say, and the most unique stabilizer we build is the maglift stabilizer. And the maglift stabilizer works on the Magnus principle, which, in short is if you take a rotating body, albeit a sphere, like a golf ball or a tennis ball, or a long tube, and you rotate it and you pass the velocity of water or air over that surface, you can generate high and low pressure, which is lift. And the maglift stabilizer is extremely unique for slow speed applications and zero speed. Quantum is the only company that builds the zero speed application, and it's been extremely successful, especially for slow speed and zero speed applications. And then the third is our Dynafoil, and the Dynafoil is a fully retractable, high aspect foil that works at zero speed and underway, and that also has some unique qualities.
John, so what are some of the criteria that you look at when determining the proper stabilization solution?
Well, that, is always determined by the hydrostatics of the vessel. So, you have to look at things like the displacement of the ship, the beam, the GM, the GZ, the natural roll period of the boat, and then generally the operational conditions that the boat is going to be used in, or the requirements set forth. So you may have a boat that has an operational speed of 7 knots, and you may have a boat that has an operational speed of 18 knots, and those are two factors that are equally as important as the displacement of the ship as well. So the function of the hydrostatics of the ship is important, but equally as important is the operational profile of the ship.
I know that vessel stabilization solutions are mainstream in, say, the mega yacht market, but not so much in the commercial maritime market. Where do you see opportunity?
But what has changed is the smaller boutique cruise ships. So when I say smaller, say the 80 to 100 meter range, where there's, they're sort of developed for a more exclusive client to go to more exotic locations, where they're not tying up to the dock in St. Thomas and going to the gift shop anymore, but they're, actually, in the Galapagos Islands or somewhere anchored. And then, similarly, the interest in to reduce the roll motions of the boat and make the boat more comfortable becomes extremely interesting to those shipbuilders and the designers of those ships. And that is a market that is growing. A small one we did a couple of years ago was called Adventurer, which was for the National Geographic, which is another sort of expedition type cruise ship. And I think those types of jobs are really going to be coming on the horizon, for us and, of course, our competition in the future. Another area of interest, of course, is, wind farms, which is also taken off over the last sort of 10 years or so. And those applications are, more unique in way of, the geography of where those ships will operate, and not just in construction, but the maintenance of these things. But construction is also quite involved. But having the ability for these ships to get out to the wind farms and be able to support the construction of a wind farm, and open the possibility for greater time at sea, being able to attend this, be on station in larger wave heights, is a really important, because it's really it becomes a financial aspect, not so much a crew comfort or anything like that.
One area that we haven't yet talked about are military vessels. Is stabilization common on military vessels around the world?
Yes, yes, depending on the country, and no, depending on the country. In itself, I think over the last sort of 10 or 12 years, the stabilizer concept for military applications has grown considerably. And today, when RFPs go out for stabilizers for military construction, albeit, blue water stuff or patrol boats, there definitely is a criteria. They're starting to pay attention to it. The designers paying attention to it. They're more akin to, and we're not supposed to use the word crew comfort in the military business, because I'm too worried about the crew being comfortable, but crew safety is paramount. So actually we went from yachts to military, and we changed one thing. We went from crew comfort to crew safety. Also, the small patrol boat business, which is growing and has grown for the last sort of 8 or 10 years, and to a point now where, every country that's got a dock has a couple of patrol boats. Not sure how they work, but they come with, floor mats, a rear view mirror, and a grey, and they get a maintenance contract and some training for the crew. And they love stabilizers, because most of the crew on these sort of military applications that aren't the major blue water navies, they're not used to being at sea, and they want to provide crew comfort.
So John, when you look at the spectrum of patented quantum marine stabilization solutions in the military market, can you share any recent references of where they're being used today?
Well, it's always the question is how much you can actually say about who's got what, but I can say that we've had success with a number of navies with our Maglev stabilizer, which is very interesting because of the slow speed attributes that it has. And we have current contracts right now for the FRC program with the United States Coast Guard through Bollinger's, which is certainly a marvelous program, not only for Quantum, but also for Bollinger's and the other companies that are involved in it. And recently, I think in the last year and a half, we secured a patrol boat contract with the Australian Navy, which is also a very prestigious announcement, really, for us, because it's a large sort of #1 Navy that's selected a full zero speed stabilizer built by Quantum, a US company, which we're very proud of.
So John, obviously stabilization has its place across many vessel types, as you said, large and small, private, government. From your standpoint, is there any challenge to adapt the stabilization solution to these various industries?
Yes and no. I mean, the stabilizers have a function, and it doesn't matter if it's a yacht, a commercial boat, a barge, or a military craft. The stabilizer has to, reduce the motions of the boat when it's at sea. But there's different applications for those motions. There's different requirements for those motions. So we know what a yacht requires. We know that the owner, that's the guy that writes the check on the back deck, very important person. He has to be comfortable. He has to keep the olive in the martini glass, and he doesn't want his family to get sick. That is the criteria for him. But that same, requirement sort of would transcend into a military ship where, they still have to reduce the roll motion, but they're doing it for a different reason, albeit, to reduce crew fatigue, spend more time at sea, safety, landing of helicopters. So, really, to answer the question is, it's not the transition from one market to another. The complication of that transition is identifying what that other market wants, or why do they need that stabilizer.
You have a lot of opportunities, and it seems like you're keeping quite busy. So again, You've been very kind with your time. I look forward to having the conversations in the future as well.
Okay, well, thanks again, Greg. It was great being on, and hope you'll call me back for version 2.
Absolutely. This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV.